Welcome to Keep Trucking Personal, where we invite you to explore the heart and soul of our company, Kivi Brothers Trucking. Through engaging storytelling, insightful market updates, and vibrant energy, our podcast reflects our culture, values, and achievements. Whether you're a team member or industry enthusiast, join us to build connections, foster growth, and inspire excellence. Discover why we're more than just a company. We're a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those aspiring to be part of something extraordinary. The pre-trip is complete and engines ready. We're set to hit the road on the Keep Trucking Personal podcast. Let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Keep Trucking Personal podcast. My name is Tyler Kivi and I'm your host. Today, we're talking about something that we've all faced, and that's conflict. Whether it's someone on the other end of the phone, someone who's being rude, or someone face to face who seems determined to ruin your day, this episode is how you keep cool, stay professional, and walk away knowing you won. Because that's the victory. And let's be honest, it's not about how much you wanted to say, it's about how much you didn't. And because in trucking, conflict finds us everywhere. At shippers, receivers, truck stops, scales, and sometimes even inside our own four walls. We deal with stress, delays, and pressure every single day. And one rude person, add them to the mix of it, can light a fuse real quick. And let's be honest, that's who we are as people. We want to get fired up when we're passionate about something. You put a lot of time and effort into loading your load. You put a lot of time and effort going down the road to get someone who tells you did it wrong, or get someone who cuts you off and is not paying attention when you're trying to do everything right. It fires you up. We get charged up. I talked about it a couple weeks ago on a different episode. A driver had made a comment that charged me up, and I was conflicted. I tried and thought about it and tried to make sure that I didn't say something that I would regret, because oftentimes that is the outcome. We say something that we regret. And it's not about being submissive and letting that other person win. It's about controlling the situation. Because here's the truth. The loudest person doesn't win. The calmest one does. And that's hard because we've all been around people who are hard chargers, right? Alphas. They want to talk loud. They get up in your face. They tell you what you're doing and how you're doing it right or how you're doing it wrong. And you roll with it. We've seen it play out many times. And that's the hard part of trucking is how do you walk into a shipper and walk out with your head held high and not let what they had said to you get to you or eat you up? And I've been a part of this, whether it's myself directly or even helping with drivers all the time. And most recently here, just a couple days ago, one of our drivers got loaded. Well, actually, rewind that. Before he got loaded, there was a whole situation. The storage fee wasn't paid. The fee had to be paid. And then when we got there, they had to hire a wrecker, which they didn't do on time. All while we're trying to stay calm and collective and manage our time, this guy starts to get a tone with a driver. And so the driver reaches back out and was kind of like, hey, this guy is like, I don't know if I can call him again because he's giving it back to me, a little aggressive. It's so hard to tell somebody just to swallow your pride and let that person say what they're going to say. Let them act how they're going to act without, maybe matching where they're, what they're coming at you with. But we did. The driver handled it professionally, did everything well, even when it started to go sideways slightly during loading, managed all of it well, got loaded, called for delivery, and it was the same customer from loading and delivery, and the same tone was brought. It was, high intensity, kind of talking down to the driver, making them feel like they, you don't know what you're doing, like just everything you can imagine that would fire you up. And you're here going, why would I want to work and do this for you and work hard? And you have to, right? Like you have to get the job done. That's what your paycheck relies on. And so you're working through all that. And like I said, I got to watch it from a 30,000 foot view and try to coach and give any advice that I can to work through it. And I could tell the driver it was tough for them. And that's just that scenario, right? But a driver gets chewed out by a dock worker or a dispatcher. They're doing their best. Someone else has already decided today is the day to unload their problems on you. What if that's the case, right? That person's having a bad day. You're coming into this situation trying to do the best you can, and they let it all out on you. You're the one receiving it. That's not fun, you know? And then in that situation, you might be prompted to give it back. Well, you might have to think about it. I could say something right now, and I'd be right to say it, but then you take a breath. You take a minute, you decompress, you call somebody at your workplace, such as this driver did with me. We talked through it, and, sometimes this is how people are, right? And that's unfortunate that I had to defend that customer by saying, hey, this is just how he or she is. But that is the situation sometimes. We walk into these arenas not knowing who we're going to go up battle against, but you have to hold your head high and stay calm. That's the challenge. And that's actually, it's a challenge to do, but it's the opportunity to do it. And remember, professionalism doesn't mean weakness. It means strength under control. And I think we often forget that. As drivers, we are isolated so long, and when somebody pushes your buttons or gives it to you in a manner that you don't like, you instantly match their tone and go right back at it, leading to conflict. Well, that conflict doesn't help you as a driver. You have 11 hours behind the wheel to think about it. Who's winning? That person that gave it to you and then now you're thinking about it for 11 hours? Or you stay calm, manage a situation, walk in as a professional, you walk out as a professional, and you won. And it's hard. You're biting your tongue when you got an 80,000 pound load sitting on it, is what it feels like. And that's leadership. That's discipline. That's what separates the ones who make it in the business for the long term and the ones who don't. Trust me, if you think about it in that manner, you'll see the opportunity. Because every conflict has two exits. One leads to chaos, the other leads to class. And when you get to choose which one you take, how you leave the conversation matters more than how you started it. Because when you leave with respect, you win twice. You get to protect your own peace. Like I said, 11 hours down the road, you're thinking about it. You walk in, you're thinking about now how you mastered that situation. And two, you show everyone around you what a real professional looks like. That's the biggest opportunity. You get to set an example. And for many, many years, we've gained a customer base through this concept. Our drivers come in, they're professional, they handle the situation, even though it may be chaos, and they control the outcome. And it works. And those are the drivers that I see succeed no matter what they do, whether they're in the situation of a scary shipment that's challenging and they're overcoming it, or when it comes to making money. Everything about a driver that keeps his cool and stays calm and collected perseveres. And so the next time someone's rude to you, just try this. Pause before you react. It's hard to do. Sometimes there's opportunities and you want to slip right in there and give them your 2 cents, but let the silence do the talking for a second. Second, ask a question. Instead of matching tone, let's say something like, hey, I understand you're frustrated. What can we fix right now? Let's propose a question. Let them think a little bit. Keep your composure because you remember, it's how you made them feel, not what words were exchanged. So you might walk into a situation where somebody's having a bad day, they let it out on you, but in turn, you make them feel better, or you make yourself feel better in this situation because you were in control. You left feeling positive and motivated. And I think there's so many avenues to decompress this in a manner of, let's say you walk into a shipper, or like that story I was telling you where the guy was just beating up our driver over the phone. Not professional from his standpoint, but we walked in this situation, we controlled it. Driver reached out even to the office, we spoke with him. We know the circumstance that he was in, and we're proud of him. We're super proud of what he did to handle it with somebody that was rude and vulgar, and he did it right. And that's winning. That's how you overcome and persevere. And when you do all of those things, you're not just solving conflict, you're setting the standard. So at the end of the day, trucking is about miles, right? But leadership is about moments, and moments when you could react, but you respond instead. Moments where you could fire back, but you stay cool. Moments where you prove that your professionalism is going to speak louder than your pride. And how you left, that's your legacy, and that's how you win. Thank you for tuning in to Keep Trucking Personal. If this episode hit home with you or struck a nerve, share it with someone who might be in the middle of a rough week, or let me know if there's content you would like to hear, because I'd love to dive into it. And you can reach out to me at podcast@kivibros.com, or you can comment on any of our posts and we'll see it. Until next time, stay safe and stay trucking.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Keep Trucking Personal. We appreciate you taking the time to explore the heart and soul of Kivi Brothers Trucking with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Tune in next time as we continue our journey together, diving deeper into what makes us a community, a catalyst for positive change, and a home for those who aspire to be part of something truly extraordinary. Until then, keep trucking, and we'll catch you on the next episode.